This Saturday marks 1 year since Donald Trump officially took office, and it's looking more likely by the minute that we will not have a funded government to celebrate that anniversary. Last week at this time, things were looking a lot better, with that bipartisan gang of six pushing a deal which would have funded the government, fixed the DACA program, increased military spending, and funded initiatives like the Children's Health Insurance Program, better known as CHIP. That is, until they brought said deal before the president, who proceeded to describe Haiti and African nations uncharitably, to say the least, putting the plan on life support. And ever since, it's been pure chaos. White House Chief of Staff John Kelly headed to the Hill to try to make a deal with the Democrats, telling them the president has evolved on his immigration stances. Here he is last night on Fox News.
He has changed the way he's looked at a number of things. He's very definitely changed his attitude towards the DACA issue and even the wall.
Even the wall. Kelly reportedly told Democrats behind closed doors that Trump was, quote, uninformed on some issues as a candidate and now realizes a physical wall across the entire border is not necessary. But as news outlets started discussing that this morning, Trump tweeted this: "The wall is the wall. It has never changed or evolved from the first day I conceived of it." And rest assured, he still says Mexico will pay for it. So without a long-term deal, lawmakers are focusing on another short-term continuing resolution to keep the government up and running, at least for a few more weeks. Now, to entice a few more Democrats to hop on board, Republicans added in that CHIP funding, which yesterday had the blessing of the White House, but today you might say the president evolved, tweeting, "CHIP should be part of a long-term solution, not a 30-day or short-term extension." As for the rest of the budget, Republican leaders are marching on to find a solution, but they seem, shall I say, confused.
I'm looking for something that President Trump supports, and he's not yet indicated what measure he's willing to sign. As soon as we figure out what he is for, then I would be convinced that we were not just spinning our wheels.
And he's a Republican. Joining me are Cynthia Dill, an attorney and columnist with the Portland Press Herald, also a former Democratic state senator from Maine. Good to see you, Cynthia. And Michael Graham, a columnist with the Boston Herald and host of Michael in the Morning and former colleague of mine. Hi, Michael. How are you? To shut down or not to shut down, that is the question. Will it happen? Should it happen?
Well, they're talking about a month-long extension, and they said, well, they may do a 4 or 5 day extension. Now they're working on a 45-minute extension. I think really has a chance to narrowly pick up. So this is going to happen. The House is going to pass a resolution. It's not going to have any border
Freedom
stuff
Caucus
in it all.
Said minutes ago, forget about it.
They're going to do it. You watch. They're going to pass. The House is going to pass it. Trump himself went down and sat down with Congressman Mark Meadows. And I know the congressman a little bit, and trust me, when Trump says jump, it's a how high situation. It's going to go to the Senate. Not a single Democrat's going to vote for it. The Democrats are going to shut down the government. It's going to be the Schumer shutdown because of the way that Senator Schumer has spoken. He's made the idiotic decision of getting the Democrats in front of the shutdown. It could have been entirely on the Republicans, but now because of DACA, they want to own the shutdown, and the Republicans are going to let him.
Let's keep Schumer out of the debate, and let's put Marty Walsh in the debate. The mayor of Boston was here last night. He said if the Democrats have to shut it down to protect the Dreamers, they should do it. Here's Walsh.
I support them in that.
Even if it means a shutdown.
Even if it means a shutdown. And I don't understand why they can't get together on this issue. It's a shame that we're at the point where we have to shut the government down.
So the Democrats talked a big game in December and then totally faded on the Dreamers that they're dedicated to. Do they fade again this round?
I don't think the Democrats faded then. I don't think they're going to fade now. But let's face it, under a Republican White House and a Republican-controlled Congress, if government shuts down, it's on the Republican watch. And coming off the heels of that tax reform bill, they are making no headway whatsoever. If the government shuts down, the Republicans will pay for it in the midterm elections.
Why shouldn't the Democrats take a stand here? If this critical issue is these 800,000 people who are as American as we are, as the Democrats say, except for a piece of paper, why not just take a stand?
Well, they absolutely should take a stand. The question is, what is taking a stand in the Trump administration, in the Trump era? I mean, we don't know what the president wants. The Democrats have been clear. They want a long-term solution for DACA. They want to fund government, and they want the CHIP program funded.
Is it not possible Democrats overplayed their hand? Most Americans, and clearly most Democrats, thought that Trump advanced a racially tinged message. Do we need to know about S-hole and everything else? Essentially, by elevating that and having that be the national debate day after day, didn't they contribute to the killing of DACA because of the kind of person Donald Trump is? He doesn't like being attacked.
Well, look, if you're just reporting on what the president says, it seems to me you're not overplaying your hand. You're speaking the truth. The president made a racial slur in an important meeting that has leaked out in the news and caused not Democrats to be outraged. It's caused the American public to be outraged. And if DACA doesn't pass, again, under President Trump's watch, then it's the Republicans who will pay.
You know, one of my favorite quotes, speaking of Republicans this week, I love the Mitch McConnell thing we played a minute ago. And in all fairness to McConnell, I'm not his biggest fan, I should say.
Yeah,
I know, it's shocking. So Donald Trump criticized the intelligence bill last week, a day after he had endorsed the intelligence bill. He said, I think it was yesterday, the children's health thing should be in the short-term package. Today, it shouldn't be in the short-term. So what do you do with that smirk on your face if you are a Republican in Congress and you have no idea what this guy's going to sign?
What guy? Who? Trump?
No,
I
I'm serious
Trump. I never
about
heard
this.
the name. Look, you can't. You just have to ignore the president and go on. Donald Trump is on his own trajectory, and so you keep walking forward. And every once in a while, he swings in and he helps you out. Then he swings out again.
And you take a tough vote and maybe have him veto where you've gone out on a plank for?
The tough vote on keeping the government. I'm sorry, I just don't agree that that's a tough vote at all because it's become such a mess. In other words, there's no DACA deal that people can point to and say you're getting this. There's no border deal. There's no nothing that people can say there's the deal. The Republicans are just trying to move forward. I hope Marty Walsh keeps talking. I hope Senator Schumer keeps talking. They are not listening to the wise counsel that they're getting right here. They are owning the shutdown so that they can say to their hardcore amnesty base, we will support you, don't worry about it. And most Americans are not with them.
Well, the majority of Americans are with the Dreamers.
That's true.
And,
but you're just saying the Democrats might not be with the Dreamers tomorrow. They might say maybe next month, maybe the following month. You stand for principle, not you. No. One stands for principle or you don't.
They're standing on principle. The Republicans essentially have given them a Sophie's choice. You either support poor children's health insurance or you support Dreamers. And the Democrats have said, no, we're not falling for that false choice. We want a comprehensive package. The senator from Virginia, Tim Kaine, was on the radio just recently saying that he wants to work over the weekend, that there's been a bipartisan group that have been attempting to forge a deal, and he wants to stay at the table and get one. I don't think they're folding at all. They're holding their feet to the fire.
I asked you a minute ago, what do you do if you're a Republican? What if you're a Democrat? So General Kelly comes and tells you, that wall thing, forget about it. And then Donald Trump wakes up, I assume he sees Fox and Friends, and they get him agitated, and says the wall is the wall. You can't quarrel with that, that the wall, I mean, who would quarrel with that? So let's assume a Democrat wants to be collaborative, wants to be cooperative, as Durbin and Lindsey Graham, the Republican, wanted to be when they thought they were reporting a deal to the president the other day till he was sandbagged by his own people, Stephen Miller and General Kelly. Who do you believe? Is Kelly telling the truth? Is Trump telling the truth?
Yes.
Exactly
right. But you made a good point that there was, first of all, the Gang of Six deal is never going anywhere because it was only 6. They never had any chance of expanding it. There was nothing.
If the president said, I support you, Graham, and you, Durbin.
There was nothing for the border people. There was a horrible deal. It even lets the people who are on their 18-month extension for 18 years stay. It did nothing to solve any of the basic issues that the people who want to fix the border wanted to address. So my point is this. When the Democrats chose to take Trump on the bleep hole comment, which he was obviously, Trump was totally out of line, and obviously he did say it, and yeah. You're right. They did destroy the deal. The question is, did they destroy it to get Trump, or did they destroy it because they knew they couldn't go back to their base and say, we accepted modest things like E-Verify, modest things like ending chain migration, and they couldn't tell that to their base?
See, I think there's another factor here too, Cynthia. Most Democrats hate when I say this, so my apologies in advance. I'm not even sure the Democrats want a deal. Because if there is a deal, the person, no matter how much the Democrats say we forced it, he's the president of the United States. He's the one that goes on television and says, I am Mr. Art of the deal. I brokered a deal to protect X and Y while I protected my base with the wall and that sort of thing. And Democrats, at least privately, I've heard say, care more about winning in November for the long term than giving him credit in the short term. You don't buy that either.
I don't buy that either. The Democrats have a history of being collaborative when it comes to these kinds of deals, unlike Republicans when Obama was in the administration.
Not one vote on taxes, not one Republican vote on health care.
Well, Republican health care, excuse me?
No, I'm talking about years ago.
Yeah,
they don't have a history of collaboration on big bills. They have a history of sticking together either to oppose something or support something with no bipartisanship.
The Democrats, I think, expressed openly and oftenly that they were absolutely willing to go to the table on taxes if the president had invited them to the table. They were invited to the table. In the case of the 6-deal bipartisan immigration situation, I mean, no, it wasn't just 6. It was 6 representing a broader coalition in the Congress, and they were looking for Trump to just do what he said he was going to do,
only have-
and he blew it up.
I
have to agree with you quickly on the deal. Democrats don't want to go back to their base and say, I did anything with Trump. It's absolutely a winner for November to say, I voted against Trump every day.
Okay,
and
we're going to
that's the
spend
whole
the last
conversation.
minute on obviously the biggest debate in America. Okay. Is he 6'3" and is he 239 pounds? And here's what Chuck Todd from Meet the Press had to say on our radio show today. Here it is.
It is stunning to me, the number of people who Trump wears down and will get even the most ethical people to lie about the dumbest thing. And can you imagine the doctor's like, fine, you want to be 6'3"? Fine, be 6'3".
That is what happened. Isn't that really what happened? I mean, that is what happened.
Look,
even the smallest thing, this president can't handle the truth.
I take a backseat to no one when it comes to dismissing Trump as a goofball, but attacking this career civil servant rear admiral is the kind of stupidity that makes otherwise Trump-rejecting people say, you know what? The people against him are so awful, I may stick with him. Insisting, you have to say he's crazy, because there's some guy on TV who's never examined him who says he's crazy.
10 seconds.
10 seconds about whether the president's 6'3", who cares?
Exactly. Thank you very much. I do. Cynthia, it's great to see you. Thank you very much. I care that he cares. Nice to see you,
I'm
Michael
6'4".
Graham. You are. Thank you very much.